Welcome back. Only on 44 News, it's been nearly 1 year since Evansville Mayor Stephanie Terry was sworn in as the 35th mayor of Evansville. Since that historic inauguration ceremony, the mayor has switched up leadership, put an emphasis on the need for public housing and more. 44 News evening anchor El'agance Shemwell sat down with the mayor today as she reflected back on the last 12 months.
All right, Mayor Terry, as you approach your first year in office, what would you say is your proudest accomplishment so far?
First of all, this year has flown by.
Yes, it has.
It's hard to believe that it's been almost a year since the election. Well, since the election, it's been a year, but just being in office and governing. And I would say my proudest moment so far this year has been the development of our block by block initiative. It's a citywide cleanup initiative when we think about neighborhood revitalization, which is really one of our top priorities. It is our top priority. What we do at the neighborhood level is so important. And so we were able to not only rally volunteers, but also city departments and us collaborating together to think about what are the most challenging neighborhoods in our city. And we're targeting that based on crime data. And we're targeting those areas based on where code enforcement violations occur. And we're going into those areas and trying to clean them up, whether it's the alleyways, cutting weeds and assisting people with home repairs. But we're really trying to think more strategically about that. And we hope to do that throughout the next year. This year we did two of them. 2 or 3 this year, and then next year we have about 8 scheduled, and so we're really looking forward to really uplifting some underserved neighborhoods.
Absolutely, and you put a big emphasis on the need for public housing. So talk a little bit more about what you've accomplished this year, or do you have any plans for next year with public housing?
Yeah, I think we've done some exciting things around affordable housing. We know that that's one of the top things in terms of what we need in our community. Based on data alone, the Bowen National Assessment, Needs Assessment, says we need around 5,000 units, both affordable, market rate, you name it, all mix of types of housing in our community. And so we really want to be thoughtful about that and how we're investing in development, future development, housing development. So we have several conversations underway with developers, and hopefully we'll have some announcements about that next year. But this year, not only did we do the block by block initiative, but we also increased some of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to $500,000.
Wow.
So we're able to make some investments there. In next year's budgets, that's even doubled to $1 million, as well as increasing our land bank. And so those are the types of things that we're doing to assure that, one, we're able to support affordable housing developments, but then look at other incentives that we can offer in developers. And so we've been working with the Veritas Group to really think through, what does it look like to do business with the city? Is it business friendly? And again, so that we can really speed up development in our city.
Absolutely. So in the past year, you replaced the Evansville Police Chief with a new chief. So talk more about your plans for 2025 that prioritizes public safety. What does that entail?
Yeah, I think equally just as much as we've done significant investments in housing, we've done the same with public safety. And the leadership, I think is strong that we have at the police department, and we've really been able to come together in a collaborative way. We just, a few months back, were able to announce, a pretty significant agreement, 3-year agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police, which we're pretty proud of. And that's going to, spur, I think, and build up morale in the police department. You're going to continue to see community policing efforts. That's something that our new, chief of police, that's at the top of his list in terms of how we're going to, function as a local law enforcement agency. And so, things like the park rangers that are, I shouldn't call them rangers, but our park police unit, we're in the parks, and that presence there has really kind of reduced some of the crime activity that we're seeing in our green spaces. And so that's tremendous. And I think we'll continue to do some of those type of things in the new year. Movies in the park will come back next summer with our public safety officials. But then from a budget standpoint, we, in addition to police, and we've made some investment there, but also with our fire department, we're going to see a new fire station, built next year. And we're able to make that investment through a redevelopment bond. But then also we're making sure that all of our public safety officials are receiving the training and resources they need to really do what the number one job of the city is, and that's public safety.
And going back to those community policing events, I know the police department probably gets a lot of good feedback on that. We've heard that from Chief of Police Philip Smith, but what have you guys heard from those?
Oh, I think people love it. The presence of the police makes all the difference, but not just there to not just to protect, but just to build relationship. And I think people feel so comfortable going up to police officers in our community. We're going to continue to expound upon that in the new year.
And so when we last talked, you mentioned bringing more development into Evansville and that how important it was for economic growth. You know, what are the plans there?
Yeah, well, what we're finding, as it relates to economic development, is investments in quality of place. Cities all over the country are doing more in terms of what, the actual place itself. And so, recently we were able to get approved both by the Parks Board as well as the City Council on a $24 million bond. And we know that there's been, years of neglect in terms of deferred maintenance that needs to take place in some of our green space and some facilities like our golf courses, Swander Ice Ring, C.K. Newsom Center, but even some of our parks, our larger ones, Garvin Park, Wesselman Park. And so we're able to make some needed amenities and address some of that deferred maintenance with this new park bond. And I think those type of enhancements make all the difference. We went through a strategic planning process, and we're still wrapping that up. But a piece of that was a community survey. And, they create these wordles, and from that survey, one of the top things was parks. And people want to see investment in our local parks and recreational facilities. And so we're going to be able to do that in the new year. And I think I'm looking forward to a lot of ribbon cuttings around, taking care of some of the much needed things that we have right now. Granted, there will be a new park on Main Street next to the new development that's underway at 420, the old 420 Main location. But there'll be a public restroom, which is not something we've had, but we know that we need in the downtown area. And so those are the type of investments that we're looking forward to in 2025.
So switching gears now, you just completed your first tree lighting ceremony, and the tree is absolutely beautiful. If you have not seen it, we'll show you here soon. So what is your, but you also told a story that warmed a lot of hearts. So what is your hope for everyone this holiday season?
And I think this holiday season, more than anything, is just to share love and joy. There is so much challenge, and people are struggling all over this community. And I think the more that we can give of our hearts, it brings about a sense of community, and that's what Evansville's all about. And that's what I appreciate about our city is how loving and caring that we are. And I just hope that people don't forget that during this holiday season.